What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Live Coding with Rabbitwerks JavaScript. My name is Sean, and tonight is the inaugural simulcast episode of Live Coding with Rabbitwerks. So, welcome everybody that's checking in on Twitch for the first time, if you're checking in after the fact. All that good stuff. Joshua's over there as well. What's up, buddy? Thanks for the follow. Yeah, so we're probably going to be simulcasting to going to watch here to beat the delay. Alright, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, we'll be simulcasting between YouTube and Twitch going forward, kind of like what CJ is doing over at the Coding Garden, just because I will trying to break into the Twitch market and all that good stuff. So thanks so much for tuning into the stream, and let's get started. So, for everybody joining or checking in for the first time, this project is essentially full-stack authentication, authorization from scratch, and basically we have a basic front end coded up. So I'll open it in just a second here. New terminal, npm. CD server, npm run dev, spin up the backend. So basically, it's just it's a pretty simple application. What we have, we just have a basic backend and a basic front end going. Here, I'll pull it up over here so everybody could take a look. Look skis. All right. Okay, so this is like the welcome page or whatever, but if we take a look, we got like a login page and then like a register page. So when we log in, we can get to a basic dashboard. So I think the username we've been using is rabbit10 sd123 for the password. Uh-oh. Something's going on here. Let's see. Rabbit 10 ASD1 D1. Oh no! My backend should be up and running. Unprocessable. Oh, you know what? I don't think that I think it's just Rabbit. There we go. Okay, we logged in. Welcome to your dashboard. Woo! Okay. So, because I dumped the user database, that's right. Not now, I don't want to add that. So this is like the logged in screen or whatever. So that's all good and dandy. So we have that set up and whatnot. What's up, V? So what I want to do is we're going to switch focus over to the back end right now and write out some middlewares to handle basically protected routes. So let me pull it up here. Let's see, app.js. Okay, so this is our backend application. So our main app.js, and let me just pull this up so we have everything on screen here. Maybe you do need to save it, winky face. No, it's autosave. I would drive myself nuts if I had to save it all the time. Anyways, okay, let's see. So, what do we got here? Basically got a basic Express app, and we're invoking cores to be able to accept incoming requests from, any origin. We're using Volleyball to log the network traffic, essentially. Express.json to your login details, that is. Oh. I got you. Into LastPass, so that way we can just log in and it autofills. Okay, so right here is app.use/auth, and it's passing in our auth router. So what this line here is doing is telling us to use our authentication route index.js, where we handle the login and the register post requests and all that good stuff, where we can log into the database or to our application, or we could register a new user. So once that's all good and dandy, and when we just want to log in, so say we are already logged in, we already are registered, and we're already logged in. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're checking to make sure that every request coming in is authenticated and has valid credentials, has valid authorization in order to access routes on our API. So what we'll do is so right at this point in the application, we're coding on the fly because we pretty much got up to my prototype or whatever. So in the original, what they were doing, or what CJ was doing, was we just had like a notes kind of thing database. So we might go along similar cases with that. We don't necessarily need to write an any type of API or whatever in this instance. We just want to demonstrate that, like, in order to go to dashboard and get information, then we want to make sure we're logged in or whatever. Any requests past the login or router. So we need to get some sort of API. Okay, so now that I'm thinking about it, we need to get some sort of basic API going so we can access those routes going forward, because without anything like that, there's not really, like, it kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to explain at this point. So let's see. Let's start by just making a new... Oh, my phone is freaking out again on this monitor. It just does not like this cord. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so we're gonna make a basic API. I think we'll just do something similar to like the notes thing, if we want to save notes. Oh, there you go. Cool. So let's see. Let me just double check the code, the example code, just so I have a good reference point. Notes.js. Okay, cool. So alright, but well, okay, I think that might be getting too much off of a tangent at that point. But if I were to say, for example, okay, let's just say app.get, and we'll say API slash, or just, let's say, just add API, and then we will say pass in an API. We need to write that. So let's go to okay, so in our source folder for our server, we're gonna create a new folder. We'll call it API, and then inside of there we'll create an index.js. Burrows information instead of nodes. Ooh, I like that. Burrows of information instead of nodes. I think that might be going off too much of a tangent. I don't know. I just want to get like a basic like response going at this point, so we can kind of demonstrate the purpose of like the middleware that we're trying to do, and then we can focus on like building out like maybe some sort of demo API or whatever. But the API at that point doesn't really matter as long as it's being authenticated, or because of making sure that the user is authorized in order or to access these routes. Excuse me. All right, so let's see, what do we got here? Okay, so let's say const router equals require. Wait a second, what is it? I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh. Okay, so express, and then we'll just call the router just like that right away, because that's all we need out of express for this package. So we just want to pull the router out of express for this instance, and we're going to use actually we don't need to bring in joy or anything like that. For right now what we want to do is just say let's see, router.get, and let's just do the root route, and then we will say this is our function, our callback function. It gets rec, res, and next, and then we can arrow functionize that. And then what we want to just say in this case is res.send welcome to the API. Okay, cool. Neato Toledo. How's the quality over on Twitch, Joshua? Is everything looking okay? Alright, so then we just need to export default router, right? Oh, modules.export, what am I thinking? This is not view. Module.exports equals router, just like that. Alright, so now we should be able to use this inside of our application. So if we go back to app.js, and we're going to go underneath, or we already have it passed in actually, but we need to import this route before we can use it. So we want to make sure that app.use any requests go through /auth to make sure that they're not hitting login or register or routes on that. And if not, then we're going to continue on, and this is where we want to make sure that we're logged in. Otherwise, we're going to get sent to like this error handler saying we're not logged in or anything like that. Okay, so let's get that going. So before we do that, let's make sure that this this route works. So if we come over to the browser, if we type in localhost 1337, it would be API, right? Uh-oh, it's all broken. What's going on? Uh-oh. Oh, that's right, I didn't bring it in. Alright, so we need to go like this. Okay, so underneath const auth equals require auth, we need to do const API equals require, and then we're going to pass in the relative path file for that folder. And when we're working with Express, we usually title our files index.js inside of the folder, the specifically named folder, due to the fact that we can just bring in the folder and it'll import index.js by default. Alright, refresh. What is this? API. Const API equals require API. Okay. And well, it's working, but let's see here. What are we doing? Oh, that's right. Good call. So okay, so right here, this is where I'm getting the error. So, and Joshua pointed it out in the chat. So when we're using middlewares or like routers and sub routers and stuff like that, we need to use app.use. So app.get is for listening for requests, incoming requests. We need to use app.use to to signify that this is essentially a middleware or whatever in our application. So we're using this API middleware in this chain, in this part of the chain. So we give that a refresh. We say welcome to the API, and bada boom. Cool. Excellent. All right, so we're getting one step closer there. So we got that going on, and what we want to do at this point is we're going to write our middlewares. So what we can do actually is get Sharpie 360 and rabbitwerks JavaScript some dang water. Let's see. So let's write our middleware. So let's see. Inside of source, we're going to create a new folder, and it will be called middlewares. Middlewares can be like, it sounds weird, but it's like, whereas you have like software, you don't have softwares, you have software, but like middlewares, you have multiple of them, and it's called middlewares because they're called, each one is called a middleware. So you have middlewares, you don't have a group of middleware. I don't know why, but we're just calling it middlewares. Anyways, okay, I need to get a glass of water. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna keep coding. So, give me 2 seconds. We'll be right back. Oop, okay, we're back. All right, so let's continue on. So we got the API route going. We got middlewares folder built. Let's create this middleware now. So we can go into middlewares and get my reference notes up really quick. I do apologize. I want to make sure that I give accurate information. Okay. Oops. All right. There it is. Okay. Middlewares. Okay, so let's see. My other project, we have middlewares inside the auth folder, but I think we're gonna keep it here because it's actually no, since We'll put it, okay, so we're going to move the auth folder or middlewares folder inside of the auth folder just because these middlewares are going to be specific to the authentication route, essentially, because we want to make sure that, well, they're not really specific to that. It's kind of a chain. Okay, strike that. We're going to bring it back outside into the main root folder. So we're going to have middlewares on its own. So I'm going to create a new file and call it middlewares.js. Okay. There's a couple things that we want to do. We want to bring in, so we're going to need to bring in the JSON Web Token or Web Token package. Alright, so if we say const JWT equals require JSON Web Token, because we want to use the verify method, and it might be updated since I originally wrote this, but we'll have to see. Okay, so come on, GitHub. Quit being lame. Okay, so we can say, okay, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure this stuff out. Actually, I want to just do a little bit of testing here. Res.json, and I'm going to pass in an object, and we're going to say rec.user, and then rec.user. Okay, I want to see what this gives us. So, a blank object. Are we still logged in? Oop. If we make this request, Joshua was saying in the chat, not index.js. Well, instead of middleware.js, I mean, let's see, what are we going? Oh, the reason why I named it, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, that's accurate. The reason why I named it middlewares.js originally, and that's what I was looking at for my old notes. So we're going to rename middlewares.js to index.js since this is going to be our middlewares file inside of our middlewares folder. The reason why I was caught up on that is because originally this middlewares file was held inside of the auth folder. So there's already obviously an index.js. And so that's why we had to name it something else. But since we have it in its own folder now, we can continue to go with the index.js naming convention or whatever. So cool. But so what I want to do at this point is say, try to figure out, it's been so long since I wrote this, I'm trying to figure out how I can like test this, so to speak. If we take a look at save yourself. We are mid switch to cookies, so front end will do no good. Okay, so that's a good point, Joshua. So since we're using cookies on the front end instead of local storage, is that's not going to affect? How do we access that? Okay, here we go. All right, so function, let's say is logged in. Okay. if I can type, logged in, and that should be receiving rec res next, Okay, so inside of here, what we want to say is, what is it on? What is it under? Is it on rec.cookie? Like that. What does Joshua say? You need postman and a valid token with the request. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Express cookie. That's for setting cookies. I don't need to set a cookie because we're setting it on the... We are out of the realm of my knowledge, dude. Yeah, me too. Well, let's just try and hack this together, I guess. Let's just see what that gives us. So, we need to export it. So module.export equals object. And so we'll have multiple ones, but for now I'm just gonna have that because we'll have a set check token, set user kind of thing. Really behind on my coding. Whee! Repositories all the way down here. Okay. Excuse me. Alright, so we have this basic middleware function so far. Let's bring it in. Let's say, actually, before this, const middlewares, or wait, no. Yeah, middlewares equals require, and then the path to that folder, just like that. Okay, so now if, so the way we can insert middlewares into routes like this is when we have, so normally we have the, just these like app.use functions, and the first parameter is a string of the route that we're trying to access, and then the second parameter is the like the router or whatever that we're bringing in. So if we have a third parameter in here, the middle in between these two, it acts as a middleware, and it's like something that runs in between, making sure that to validate that we're able to access this route right here. So basically what it's going to say is, it's like for pseudocode it would be like, well, actually we don't even need to do pseudocode. We can just say middlewares.isLoggedIn. So it'll run this, and based on the result of this function right here, it's either going to go to this route or it's going to move on to the next thing, which would either be like an error handler, or so it's going to move on to the API or the auth API. Oh, wait a second, that's the wrong thing. I'm sorry. It needs to go to the API route right here. Sorry, it's been a long day. Leave me alone. Okay, so in order to access the API, we need to make sure that we're logged in. So we're checking to see if we're logged in. We have to continue finishing to write that function right now, but yeah. So let's see. If we are to access this now, is it gonna log what we want? Undefined. Okay, yeah. That's fine because rec.cookie. Rec.cookie. Oh, I see. Okay. Express. Let's do some research here. API reference. Rec. Cookies. Oh, I see. Missing the S. Cookies. Give that a run. What do we got? Undefined. Oh, because I'm not passing anything from the dashboard. So actually, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write just a basic fetch request inside of here, just to hit the back end at that API route, so we can see what's going on with our actual like our actual credentials and whatnot, versus trying to like screw around with Postman. So basically what I'm going to do is whenever we go to the dashboard route, it's going to hit the back end and just try and like hit that route. Okay, let's see. Oh man, is this loud? I'm sorry. It sounds like a friggin' wind tunnel. My preferences not taking effect. Or my filters. Jeez Louise. There we go. Cool. Hopefully that's not buzzing anymore. I do apologize about that. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm on the front end right now, and I'm at the dashboard.view, and right here on our view instance, I'm actually just going to write out a quick function. So I'm going to target the mounted lifecycle hook. And then inside of here, I'm going to write just a basic fetch request. So we're going to do fetch HTTP local host port 1337/API. And then, okay, so inside of here, we're going to add some stuff. So we'll have our method is going to be get. Our headers are going to be an object. Headers. Okay, and then let's see. Content type application / JSON. Okay, I think that's all I need for the headers right now, and then we'll just have rec or body is Cody. Body is equal to JSON.stringify. Oh, I guess we don't really even have a body, so we don't need to include that. We don't need a body. We'll just have the fetch request just like that. So let's see what that gives us. Let's give this a refresh. Oh. Connection closed before res end flush. Let's see what happens here. Res.json rec.user. What does that mean? connection closed before res.end flush. You are authorized to view this route. Congrats. Slap a quick basic button so you can test easily. You don't have to keep refreshing front end that way. Oh wow, that made a big difference. I think you need the dashboard to make for the cookie to be attached. Slap a quick basic button so you can test it easily. Don't have to keep refreshing the front end that way. Oh, good point. Oh wow, that made a big difference. What does the connection closed mean? Let's do our trusty. Oh, we might need to update node. This seems like it's oh, this is not the correct terminal. It's 11.13. Well, that's not the case. Oh, it's because I know why it's going. I know what's going on because we're not we're in the middleware. We're not calling next because we have to call next to move on to the next thing. So if we go like that, then it should alleviate that error for us. Okay, there we go. Cool. God, the font is so small in this little chat window. Joshua was saying you may need the credentials include option on the fetch request, but that will then throw cores. Are you talking about as far as the cookie? Rec.cookie. When using the cookie parser middleware, this property is an object that contains cookies sent by the request. If the request name is rec.cookie.name cookies console.dir. What the hell? Let's make sure our cookies are actually. It should be in there because we set it. But I just want to make sure it's actually in there. Memory, source console, source performance memory. Where is it under? Network, application. Yeah, token. Okay, so it is in there as a cookie. Why won't it give us what we want? Why won't it give us what we want? Are we using a cookie parser? I don't think we are actually on the back end. That's probably why it's giving us undefined. Okay, so cookie parser on the back end, rec.cookies. Oh yeah, okay. All right, so let's install that package really quick because we need to use that. Make that work. Make a that work. All right. cd server, and then we'll do npm I cookie parser because right now it's not finding anything and it's just returning a blank object. Added 2 packages. Cookie parser. So we had the cookie parser on the front end, but we didn't have it on the back end, so it wasn't being able to parse the cookies. All this talk of cookies is making me sweet tooth. Okay, let's see now. How do we call this now? Cookie parser. Bring it in. Blah blah blah. So in our middlewares, we need to. This is where we need to bring it in. Okay, so const. We actually don't. I don't think we need to bring in JSON Web Token. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, actually, you know what it's saying? We should bring it in at the app.js level. So let's do that. So underneath cores, I'm gonna bring it in. So const cookie parser equals require cookie parser. Okay, and then we need to then use it. So after we do cores, we're gonna invoke it. So app.use, and then we'll pass in cookie parser, and we need to invoke it. So this is essentially another middleware that we're using on top of all requests, so we can access things. Right, so if we hit this now, what do we get? Oh, look at that. Object null. Still don't have anything in there. Why doesn't it want to? Credentials include. Let's try what Joshua was saying. So, is that part of the headers? Credentials include. No, prototype. Okay. If you add the credentials include, you just have to whitelist, I believe, as it doesn't allow all origins. Is that part of the headers? Oh, it's just an options object. Okay, I see. Okay, so we'll do after headers, we'll do credentials include. Alright, let's see what that does. Is that gonna break our app? Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, I don't necessarily want to like have to whitelist. Wouldn't I have to whitelist localhost 8080, not 1337, because the request is coming from 8080. But I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to. Okay, yeah. But I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to whitelist if possible. Is there a way that we can do this without that? Like, let me see. Fetch API with cookie. Let's see what this has to say. SameOrigin. SameOrigin doesn't work anymore. Include only works for cross-origin requests, but not for the SameOrigin requests. Credentials include. Okay, okay, fine. It looks like that is the way we have to do it. So let's see. If we're going to do that, then we need to course whitelist. Oh, course whitelist. Configure course domain whitelist for web apps. Oh, I don't want to do all this garbage. What the hell? Let's just check out that. Okay. Excuse me. Single road configure origin. So CourseOptions is how we would pass it in, right? So okay, yeah. So we need to set up CourseOptions and then just add that as part of the origin. Okay, let's see. So up here, let's see. Origin HTTP localhost 8080. Okay. Okay, so if we pass this CourseOptions into cores when we invoke it, then I believe we should be good to go as far as making requests from the front end, at least now. Alright, so let's see. Refresh this. Nope. Nope. Where is it? Middleware. CourseOptions. Oh, let's see. Course blocked by response to pre-flight request doesn't pass access. The value of access control allow credentials header in the response is, which must be true when the request credentials is mode is includes. Okay, so Let's see. Let's try adding that. So it is. Don't delete that. I need that. I can't remember that. All right. So we need to add this header access, and we need to set that to true, I guess. And let's see if that works. Oh, and then look at that. It still doesn't work. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still pretty pretty green when it comes to working with this stuff. We have the token in there, so hmm. I'm not really sure. Rec.cookies. I'm gonna have to do some research on using cookies on the back end because I'm at a loss right now, unfortunately. I don't know. If anyone has any suggestions, please let me know in the chat. What am I doing wrong? Anyways, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I think at this point. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research on this. I think I'm gonna call it for the evening at this point because we're kind of running up against a wall, and I don't want to just stand here staring at a screen while everybody waits in anticipation. So I'll look into working with cookies on the back end, getting them over from the front end to the back end. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, am I logged in still? Can I go to dashboard? Delete this. That. It brings me. Okay. So it all works. I just need to figure out how to get this working between the front and the back end. I've been so busy lately. But good news is that I do have Fridays off. I have Fridays off until the end of the year, so I have 3-day weekends going through the end of the year. So hopefully we can get some more stuff done. Maybe we'll do some during the day coding tomorrow and stuff like that, and just hang out on Twitch and all that good stuff and just do some research together, but we'll see. Anyways, I appreciate everybody checking in to the stream. Sorry it wasn't as eventful as usual. Again, like I said, I'm kind of flying blind right now with this whole cookies thing and on the back end, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. So without further ado, I think I'm going to call it for the evening, and I'm going to get busy on some research on how to get this to work. So once I get an answer, we'll come back live. Tune in, I believe, Sunday night for episode 2 of the Let's Learn Python series. Doing that with my daughter, and I are doing a pair programming, learning Python together. So it's pretty cool. And then, yeah, I don't know. If I can get this figured out, we might do a stream tomorrow night for it, or over the weekend or something like that. So stay tuned on that. And until next time, I think that's going to do it. So. Again, thanks for tuning into the stream. Thanks for tuning into rabbitwerks JavaScript. I know it wasn't as successful as usual, but you know that's the way it goes sometimes. We have to come back to problems when we run into roadblocks like this, and do a little bit of research, come back to it with a fresh set of eyes, and I'm sure it'll be right there staring at me. And that's just the way development goes sometimes. So thanks for tuning in. I will I'm not actually gonna, well, I guess I could push the code to GitHub, but I don't think I'm going to this time around because we really didn't get that far, and I want to make sure that we have something working before I push anything. So stay tuned. We'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks for tuning in to rabbitwerks JavaScript live coding. My name is Sean, and until the next session, stay awesome, keep coding, and catch you on the flip side. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.